lady that called?
Yes. Please sit down, Mr.
O'Hara. Special Agent James O'Hara, United States Treasury, IRS Intelligence.
Do you hear me? I've never done anything like this before.
Coffee.
My name is Janet Bryce. My husband is Alan Bryce. He's a lawyer. I love him very much.
Well, that's a good beginning.
I said my husband is a lawyer. But he doesn't practice anymore. Actually, he's a very heavy, very successful gambler.
Horses?
Never horses. College basketball and football. Basketball mostly. He's at a game tonight. I don't know the mechanics. He operates it out of his office.
Why are you scared?
Because he does his business in cash. Sometimes he carries it with him. Very large sums of cash. Mr. Harris, gangsters do business in cash, don't they?
Well, do you remember a specific time when he had an excess of cash on him?
Yes. Yes, I do. It was Good Friday of last year. I remember because we were taking some friends on a special cruise over Easter weekend. It was too late for the banks, I suppose. In his dressing room, his case was open. It was stuffed with money, all packaged and marked like from a bank.
Did you count it?
No. No, I was too frightened.
1,000?
Oh, more. Much more. They were packets of $100 bills.
2, 3, 5,000.
At least. And Mr. O'Hara, I think Alan is frightened too. Just lately. But he says that's the way they play, for cash, and that he has to go along. I think he's honest with his taxes,
But you're not sure?
I want you to investigate him. I'd rather see him safe in jail than dead. It's a terrible thing to say. Would you mind awfully seeing me to a taxi?
Shot. Water.
What is this, somebody's idea of a choke?
A water pistol.
What happens, Bryce? Allen was pulled 2 weeks ago in a routine audit. Now, the return seems to be in order, but as you will notice, peculiar.
240,000. I'd like to be so peculiar.
Occupation, wagering, business expenses, 5 secretaries, 5.
What are all these newspapers that he does?
Yeah, 108 he subscribes to, 83 of them college papers.
Like you say, peculiar.
And so far, no violations. Check intelligence records?
Intelligence records on Bryce Allen show nil.
Nil. Marty?
Bryce's phone records. Loves long distance, this guy. Phone bill almost 8,000. Most calls for 3 cities, all here in California. All calls under 3 minutes.
Any favorites?
San Francisco.
Holly?
His bank records, frequent deposits, always in cash.
2, 3 times a week.
And get this for peculiar. Every deposit, never under 5,000. Never over 6. Cash.
Cash. Does that begin to cut a pattern? Like skimming the top off something?
Yeah, it could be. Good Friday fell on April 6th last year. According to his wife, he had at least $5,000 in that date. What's his last deposit?
Here it is. April 9, he deposited $1,610.
So? What happened to the other 3,400?
Yeah, who's pushing all that cash around to occupational wages like Bryce? Where does it come from, and where does he keep it?
Someplace bigger than a bread box.
Somewhere there's a huge amount of cash unrecorded. Probably untaxed.
Cash that can go legit.
Intelligence, Donaldson. You are.
Oh, yeah?
What have you got on his travel expenses?
Travelers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a park behind this building.
You got something in share?
Nice place to feed pigeons.
My daughter Pam was waiting for the school bus. A man in a little red car drove by and squirted her full in the face with a water pistol, just like... Mr. O'Hara, what can be happening?
You should go to the police.
Please, no. Newport is a small town. Do they have to know my husband's business?
Does your husband know about this?
Yes. He's frightened, too. For Pam and me. But he doesn't want the police involved, either.
I'd like to talk to him.
He wouldn't see you.
Well, I'll wait.
He hasn't been to the office. Only the house and the boat.
Why?
Partly because he's afraid for us. And I think he's waiting for some sort of message from them. If I mentioned special agent, he'd climb the wall. Still, if there was some way I could invite you and your wife socially, to the boat perhaps.
Sorry, friend. That's my coffee.
I'll be in touch. See that she gets home all right, huh? Setting Bryce up for something.
Let him know what could happen.
First his wife. Now his kid.
Next time, Squirt Man could be loaded with acid.
Yeah, and they're very nice people. Bryce cooperated with the audit division. Now he wants to be alone.
Could be. He's in big trouble.
We blow the whistle now. His wife and daughter may not be very pretty anymore.
He won't come to us.
The O'Haras have been invited to see him.
Oh?
Now, we have female sky marshals, right?
The Skyjack girls?
Call Customs, see if they can lend us one by the name of Mrs. James O'Hara.
Get me Customs.
Jim, I can recommend this guy for gin rubbing. He's a pigeon.
Well, pigeon.
Angela and I are going forward for some sun.
Oh, I've been working this morning. Let me clear this out here. We'll take the girls for a spin as soon as the skipper finishes his lunch. Jim, your wife is charming. Crossed my mind that you might be a plant.
Well, you can throw me off if you want.
Somehow I thought you'd be from the other side.
What other side?
I have no idea.
Well, who do you make your bets with?
I have no idea about that either. What am I accused of?
Absolutely nothing. I wanted an invitation to your boat because I thought this would be the safest place to talk to you.
You did a good job. You got to Janet, of course.
Well, she got to us. She kind of likes having you around. She thinks you're in trouble. If she's right, we're interested in the troublemaker. Suspected tax violation. We need your help.
I got a call. Somebody wants to do business. No threat, just a hint. Said I'd hear more soon.
They have. A man with a squirt gun. 714-295-7599. Who's that?
Harry, San Diego.
219-555-8.
Ernie in Fresno.
415-885.
Jack in San Francisco.
Last names.
I have no idea. They have outs. They take my bets and just move them along.
To who?
Some central bank for all of them, I suppose. As I said, I did some work this morning. I'll show you how it operates. Jack, this is Bryce.
Hello, Mr. Bryce. What do you got?
North Dakota A&M. Friday, +7.
Really?
Now, that may drop later, and if it does, I may get back to you on the other side. Can you move 1,000?
You're on. Thanks a lot, Mr. Bryce.
Now, what does Jack get out of it?
A small percentage, I suppose. And I have what's known in the trade as a good opinion. That means that I win more often than I lose.
So, Harry, Ernie, Hyjack put their money where yours is.
I suspect so. That's why I have to spread my bets around to so many cities. I influence the odds.
When you win, is there ever any slow pay?
Who's ever backing these boys is a prompt pay.
Cash.
Well, for convenience sake, we'll let it ride until one side or the other owes more than $5,000. But then we automatically settle up and start over.
How does the money show up?
Well, it used to be a courier would drop it by my office, but lately it's been coming by registered mail.
Postmark?
Here in town.
Maybe that's to remind you that...
The courier and squirt man are one and the same? Yes. I know.
How do you keep winning?
By working harder at it than anybody else. I love sports, always have. And I found out early on by studying every available scrap of information that I could make very accurate predictions. I have 5 secretaries in my office, and they're paid to do nothing else but read sports pages and redline anything that pertains to football or basketball.
Charlie Gadso and his Karen are Splitsville.
Well, Charlie Gadso just happens to be Charlie All-Conference. So Charlie's love life is just one factor that I put together along with maybe 20 others to make a betting judgment.
Sounds like a full-time job. Who do you do the most business with?
415-885-0714. Jack in San Francisco.
Didn't I tell you he was a pigeon? Who's winning?
I am. We are, Janet. Thanks to you.
I've been a lousy tattletale. You can hate me, but I've been that scared.
Mr. O'Hara thinks he can help us.
Thanks, Jim. Hey, now you two. Haven't you been cooped up long enough? Your 2 gorgeous broads are being positively wasted.
I'll tell the skipper to cast off.
I already have.
Now, Mr. Bryce, you can answer this if you want to. Over Easter weekend last year, you had quite a lot of cash.
Quite a lot.
5,000?
Just over.
On the following Monday, you deposited only $1,600. Now, that bothers us some.
There were some new boys in San Diego. They were into me for $3,400. They got strapped somehow, and they sent some little hood around to the office to pick it up that Monday. In cash. I guess I just failed to put it in my records.
You forgot it.
I must have. I owe you.
Well, you can take it up with audit and collection.
Where do we go from here?
I go. San Francisco. 885-0714.
885-0714 is a telephone located in that apartment building. It's listed to a Mary Smith.
For real, Mary Smith?
Oh, no, it's apartment 2. Oh, by the way, here's that clear local ID you requested. We also have a hotel room for you as requested. You want to see it?
Now, let's talk to Mary Smith first. Lady's out of the shower.
No, more than that. The phone rang just once, short. She didn't answer it. Maybe she's not taking her calls.
But someone else is, which could mean
A cracker box.
Whoever it is, please go away. I'm dripping wet and I'm late for work. I'll be back at 5, and bring your own.
Shall we make it official?
Can always come back at 5.
Yeah, if we bring our own.
Are we radio equipped?
Certainly.
Let's see where the lady works.
This is Mobile 1. Do you read me?
Yup.
Our subject is on her way down. Just left her apartment. Hang on. She's carrying a violin case.
May we talk to you, Miss Smith?
Oh, golly, fellas, not now. I gotta get with this.
We won't interrupt you for long, Miss Smith. United States Treasury, Special Agents. I'm Harron, that's O'Hara.
Oh, Michael.
Miss Smith? You know someone named Jack?
Everybody knows lots of Jacks.
Who's your telephone listed to, Miss Smith?
Me? Oh, you mean that Jack. Sure, he's a friend of mine. I worked for him when I was at the beach with the country confabulation. But I didn't dig country music all that much. Mama trained me in classics, so when violin opened up with these cats, I grabbed it. The bread's just as good, and...
Jack.
That's what I was telling you. So when Jack asked me if he could rig my phone for messages and like that, and he'd give me $5 a week, too. Did I do wrong?
Would it be all right with you if, we took a look at your telephone, Miss Smith?
Well, sure. But listen, first I gotta go do my job. Quartets really sound lousy when they're only 3.
5 o'clock, your apartment. And please keep this confidential.
Let's go, Mary. We're ready.
Michael, I'm coming. I'll see you.
Outside in the afternoon, you people are very cultural around here.
There you are. Call just came through. The phone rang once, and the cracker box cut in electronically and dialed another number.
Predetermined.
Sure.
And covered.
Yeah, it hooks into our circuitry automatically. Somewhere else, somebody's already answered it.
No record of the call anyway.
No way. See, there are 10 little reeds inside of here. Each one has a different pitch. Each one represents a different number on the telephone dial.
Can you read the number it dials?
Well, I can try.
I did wrong.
The setup is completely illegal. Intent to defraud.
Oh, Michael.
You could be in serious trouble. If you are, we'll try to help you. No promises. But please don't talk about this to anyone.
Okay. The covered number is 362-9296.
362-9296 is at address 590 Ocean Avenue. Acknowledge.
Control, this is SF3 acknowledging 590 Ocean Avenue.
Roger, be further advised, that address also discloses a listed number, the place called Funky's, owner Jack Allen.
Roger, got it.
You know it?
Yep, which gives us time for dinner. if Jack, baby, gets cooperative, I could be out of here in time to go home and say goodnight to the kids and maybe even have a little chat with Yvette. Just sit and talk.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hold it, honey. ID, please. Oh, Jenny, why do you try every week with this tired old phony? If you can't get your money back, burn it, yeah?
Hey, man, you know me.
Yeah?
Well, she's with me. And I thought, well, you might overlook the fact.
You, okay. Her, no. Yeah, buddy?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Jack.
Chef does all buying. You can catch him 1 to 4.
I'm not selling anything.
If you're checking the action, it's kind of young for you around here. This what you're looking into? Okay, kids.
Look, I told you.
Oh, yeah, it's time they had a new face around here.
I wanted to talk to Jack.
Jack's busy.
But when's he unbusy?
He doesn't see anybody except by appointment.
All right, I'd like to make an appointment. How about now?
Try tomorrow.
What time?
After 1.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, man. ¿Qué pasó?
Well, I tried to save your evening for you, but the guy at the door would have no part of it.
Did he make you?
I think some local fuzz checking on his admissions.
Oh.
He put me off till tomorrow. The trouble is, I'll probably get the same answer then. Listen. A guy like Jack with a select clientele. I know he couldn't care less for the man on the street, but tell me, how does he build a select clientele out of only high rollers?
One happy loser recommending another, I suppose.
Big bankroll, big okay, right?
Yeah. Don't tell me, I know. Contact Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, have him get in touch with Alan Bryce. Tell him to okay me. Cover ID name.
Curtis Gann, I gave it to you. How much money do you want?
$1,000 ought to make me a happy loser.
That should do it.
Why don't we got a problem?
We got a problem. What's the problem?
Yeah, well, Mr. Bryce only knows Jack's telephone number, not his address. If he doesn't know it, how do I? A local.
Yeah?
Somebody he does business with locally. Knows his address. Somebody he knows personally.
We're going to have to find that somebody. Tonight.
Bryce will give us the names. Our job is to find out somebody that's out of town. Out of reach.
Yeah.
That's only a matter of phoning.
So I don't say goodnight to the kids, and I don't say goodnight to Yvette.
Let's do it. It's tomorrow after 1 o'clock, and I still want to see Jack.
Well, I'm sorry, but it turned out that wasn't such a good idea.
Jack say that?
I said it.
Well, this time you better ask him.
Look, friend. Talk to you a minute. This clown comes in last night looking for you. Put him off. He's back. I think he's buzzed.
You wanted to see me?
It won't take long.
Of course. Come with me.
Don't you want him to give me a little pat or two? He thinks I'm a cop.
So, some of my best friends are cops. You were here last night, I understand.
Well, you're a hard man to get to see.
Not always. Depends who wants to see me.
Curtis Gann.
I doubt very much if that would have done it last night, Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, well, I got a couple of other names that might have, but I don't believe in drop names in public, you know.
Very prudent. What do you want?
Oklahoma teachers, -7. 200. $1,000 credit.
Who says I handle that kind of action?
Russell Wyckoff, Hillsborough.
Mr. Wyckoff, just tell him Jack. Okay, thanks. Anybody else?
Locally, well, I don't know that many people in San Francisco.
Toll calls are no problem around here.
Alan Bryce, Los Angeles.
Hi, Mr. Bryce. Jack in San Francisco. How do you make Oklahoma teachers tonight? No more? Oh, guy here says you know him. Curtis Gann. Thanks, Mr. Bryce. Get back to you soon. You got a bet. Mr. Bryce says +2. You crazy?
Yeah, maybe I know something he doesn't.
Jackson, San Francisco. Teachers +2 tonight. Can you stand 1,000? Oh, and add a bill for me. Yeah, same spread. Oh, here's something for your greedy little hearts. 200. Teachers -7. Yeah, I know. 1 every minute. Am I covered? Take your change when you leave, Curtis.
Company's records for Jack's phone showed no long-distance traffic at all, much less any calls to Tucson.
He's got an electronic switching device in his desk.
I guess maybe we should notify telephone company security.
Yeah, Jack is Bryce's #1 contact, but there are 2 others. Bryce gave me their names and their numbers. I'm going to need your help.
All right, sure.
There's Harry in San Diego, 714-295-7599.
Okay.
There's Ernie in Fresno, 209-555-8471.
Got it.
Notify our offices in San Diego and Fresno, run the numbers, get a make on the subscribers.
Will do.
And if they come up with any more Mary Smiths, my guess is they'll come up with some more cracker boxes.
Well, suppose they do. How far do we want them to go?
All the way, but not till we give them the word.
All right. I'm sure the local PD and the telephone company security office will work hand in hand.
Flew in Marty Donaldson in Los Angeles.
Yeah, of course.
Jack picked up that phone and made that bet. He was in violation of Title 18, 1084.
Yeah, let's see, that's, interstate transmission of wagering information, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll work out the details with the U.S. Attorney after we wrap up this tax case.
Okay. Oh, I'll get that. Might be our answers from Tucson. Hello, Heron here. Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead. It's in a what? Yeah, I got it. Go ahead. Yeah. I'll be sure to tell him that. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Tucson. He says to tell you that it's hot in Tucson.
I brought along my golf clubs. What else?
Well, let's see. Telephone number 622-4699 is located in a movable vehicle on the premises of the Russell Armored Transport Company, 1230 Cactus Street, Tucson, Arizona.
What's with Russell Armored Transport?
Seems to be legit. In business 7 years. Bank-type customers, good financial profile, heavy security.
Well, maybe I better take a look. Get Tucson back on the phone, get me an appointment.
You got it.
Teachers 67, Stillwater 65. Well, there went $200.
You a gambling man?
No, but our employer is.
There it is. 1230 Cactus.
Try to make anyone that goes in. United States Treasury, I have an appointment.
Mr. O'Hara, Colonel Phillips. I hope there's nothing wrong. We were audited already this year.
This is not an audit. I understand you have a secondary phone line tied into one of the vehicles on the premises.
Yes, sir. Old Betsy.
Well, I'd like to see old Betsy.
You'll need this. I'll notify the foreman you're coming in. Margarita, 2 doors, please.
You the agent who wants to see old Betsy?
That's right.
Excuse me. Joey's coming in.
Policy?
Mr. Russell believes in showing the flag.
Mr. Russell runs a tight ship. Is he around?
Well, I've never seen him myself. They say he travels a lot. Well, there's old Betsy. That's the first truck that Mr. Russell ever owned. Sentimental about her, I guess. Anyway, it's against the law to sell her. So there old Betsy sits. She's a pip, ain't she?
Yeah, she's a pip. She run?
No engine.
Why is she closed?
Air conditioning.
Who's inside?
Oh, Mr. Russell's got some people working in there. From the auditing department, I hear.
Would you please let me in?
Oh, I'm sorry. Nobody's allowed in there without Mr. Russell's personal say-so.
You don't have the authority to let me in.
No, sir. Not even the colonel can do that. Do you want me to try to get in touch with Mr. Russell?
That won't be necessary, thank you. Let's keep this confidential.
Some dude went in with an attaché case. His car parked over there. Checked with DMV, registered to a Mervyn Civic. Intelligence records report he did 2 years, tax fraud.
Now he's a courier. Control, this is 3. Come in, please.
This is Control. Go ahead.
Stiff a number for me. 622-4699. Advise how that phone answers.
Roger 3, stand by.
You forgot to take off your visitor's badge.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to need it again.
3, this is Control. Male voice, your number answers. Yeah, auditing services.
Roger, thank you. Well, let's go find a typewriter. And go see the U.S. Attorney. I think a magistrate will agree we got plenty of probable cause.
Now, this character, Mervyn Civic. Did you check his parole record?
Yes, sir. He's been clean.
Well, how do you know the poor fellow didn't just happen to drop by old Betsy to pass the time of day?
Well, it seems unlikely, sir.
Huh. Unlikely, eh? Yes, I guess you're right. However, I don't think you fellows want entire premises in here. It's not reasonable search and seizure. Seems to me all you need is to get into old Betsy. Think you can live with that?
Yes, sir.
Concealed records.
It's in said vehicle. I find this hard to believe.
Well, the magistrate didn't, and warrants are not easily come by. I intend to search that vehicle.
I'm sure if Mr. Russell were in town, he'd be glad to straighten this out.
We can straighten this out without Mr. Russell. We're armed, Colonel. Now, what will happen if we walk into that yard?
If I've trained them right, the guards will start shooting.
I agree. So you're going to have to help us. We want you to precede us into the area, explain the situation to the guards, and order their cooperation.
How can they be sure?
You make them sure, Colonel.
2 doors, please.
Men! Hear this! Hear this! There are 5 United States Treasury agents here. They have a legal warrant to search old Betsy. Don't resist them. That's an order. Now, I'm going to walk away from these agents to show that nobody's got a gun in my neck. Treasury. I have it. They panic. Go to the control booth. Call them on 622-4699. Tell them to withdraw the weapons and come out.
Got the message.
Yeah, but they're not coming on.
Maybe they think it's a hijack.
There ought to be a real pressure cooker in there without air conditioning. Suppose you could turn it off? You're right. It gets hot in Tucson.
Mobile 1, this is 3. Control relays a message.
Stand by, 3. All right, arrest him, 7212A, interference with the administration of income tax law. Give it a number and call it a Swiss bank.
Mobile 1, this is 3. Control relays a message.
Go ahead, 3.
Your contact in Newport Beach requests you join him there. ASAP visitors from Tucson are en route.
Yeah, Russell and Friend, no doubt. All right, stand by, 3. Mop it up for me, and thanks, Jones. 3, request control to get me out of here like right now for Newport Beach. Have them get in touch with the subject, arrange a meeting with Fort Knox on the boat. Not the office, the boat. He'll understand. Hey, get me a steward's jacket, size 42. Thanks, Colonel.
Right on.
Jack in San Francisco, Ernie, Harry in San Diego, and Harry never wins unless he's betting with you.
I can always make other connections, Mr. Russell.
But you won't. You see, you're in over your head, counselor. You're in a business that needs muscle. You don't have any. I do. Now, you take my man here. Why do you think I brought him along today?
You said he was your secretary.
He's my flag. I like to show my flag, counselor. I believe in that.
That's some sort of threat.
Just an observation. Now, I think you're fixing these games. Your average is much too good to...
Would you like me to serve, Mr. Bryce?
Just leave it. We'll help ourselves.
I don't really care how you're doing it. I'm in.
Ned, the secretary, he's the acid man, the guy that was playing water pistol with Mrs. Bryce in the elevator.
I've heard of what you call muscle. But this is the first time I've ever experienced it.
You haven't experienced it yet.
But I will.
I understand you have a very pretty wife and daughter. I understand you're quite old-fashioned about them.
All right. Spell it out.
I'll bet your point spreads. You'll bet, but not your judgment. The phony spreads I give you through Harry, Ernie, Jack, just as always. Your good opinion and trade will make the odds abnormal all over the country.
I thought you were going below. Well, I did. And I remembered Mr. Bryce likes brandy with his coffee.
Counselor, we've just formed a partnership.
It's not water this time, lover boy. I saw this dude before, Mr. Russell.
Oh? Where?
Not quite sure, but I think he's heat.
All right, you made me. The skytop room.
Ah, yeah, that's it. The skytop room. He was with Mrs. Bryce.
Mrs. Bryce?
Cozy as could be.
What are you talking about?
Hanky-panky. I rode down with them in the elevator. Sneaking around together. Have you forgotten, lover boy? I say again, it's not water this time.
It's entirely my fault, Mr. Bryce.
Oh, what does that mean?
You know how women are.
No, suppose you tell me about women.
Well, they get bored. They want to have a fling sometime.
A fling?
You want me to really work him over?
Look, I don't care what you do with him. Just not here.
Mr. Bryce, believe me, I'm sorry. I'll show you how I share my partner's troubles. We are partners.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Well, he's got rather a pretty face. But after we've conducted our business, I'm sure my man here can fix his face so it won't be so attractive to the ladies after this. How about a little boat ride, Mr. Bryce?
Skipper! You ready to cast off?
United States Treasury.
From now on, you're going to be a pretty tough guy to shave, lover boy.
Mr. Bryce, we'd like to talk to you. And to you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Tattletale.
You're welcome, Pigeon.
Can I give you a lift, Mr. Russell?
You're not going to arrest him?
The federal courts in Arizona will take care of that. It'll take a little time to get the evidence out of old Betsy, but I'm sure it'll work.
What if he goes into hiding?
You'll have to hurry. I just got a call from the Tucson police. They're making noises already about illegal bookmaking activities.
And since those activities include long-distance wagering, the Justice Department will be interested, too. That's right after we get finished with our investigation. Mr. Russell?
I'm sorry about that slap.
That's all right.
What about my husband?
Your husband is going to be a key witness against Mr. Russell.
And there's that $3,400 that you didn't declare.
I feel I owe more than just the penalty on that money. O'Hara, I know that the dealings with the Treasury are strictly confidential, but I still feel I have something to straighten out with the district attorney.
These two were college buddies until the war.
Danny Glover probes the unique relationship between Grant and Lee on Civil War Journal tonight.
Now Jim goes undercover to put the slip on a sleazy oil company on the Rockford Files. Next on A&E.
It's time well spent.
she's going to be a big help. Yeah, we don't need a witness.
Well, it is a public place.
Maybe she'll leave before our man shows. Let's go.
Hello. Are you? Who are you? O'Hara? Is your name O'Hara?
That's right.
I am here for Chico. I am Maria Valdez, his wife.
Mrs. Valdez, I'm James O'Hara. That's Frank Case, Special Investigators, ATF.
ATF? I thought Chico say IRS.
Oh, that's correct.
All those letters. It's very confusing.
Yes, I know.
Internal Revenue Service, and they take care of taxes.
That's correct.
But that is not what Chico called you for.
Well, ATF is an agency of internal revenue. We're interested in certain criminal tax violations, too. ATF, you see, the A stands for alcohol. We enforce laws having to do with federal taxes on alcohol. The same for tobacco, that's the T. Now, the F stands for firearms. That takes up most of our time lately. We enforce federal laws pertaining to guns and explosives.
Oh, that is it. Explosives. That is what Chico wants to talk to you about.
Where is he?
I would not let him come here until I was sure that everything was all right and that you would not arrest him.
Oh, what has he done?
Oh, nothing. And he don't want to do it. Chico is very honest. But they offer him $200.
What for?
For helping to steal explosives from the warehouse where he worked tomorrow night.
Mrs. Valdez, if there's been no crime committed, your husband's in no danger of being arrested. We would appreciate any information he'd care to volunteer.
Oh, I don't know.
Frank, why don't you see how Chico feels about it?
What do you say, Chico? Do you want to help us?
I told you, Maria, there was nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about? Those men that want to steal the explosives, do you think they are nothing to worry about?
Taking the dynamite and plastic explosives.
500-pound pallets of government property. That'll make a lot of bombs.
6, stand by to take over surveillance.
10-4.
You got a make?
Yeah. The driver's name is Vincent Pearl. He's a local ex-con. Served 4 years for transporting stolen firearms across state lines.
The other one?
I don't know him. Could be the big man.
Yeah, if he isn't, and we hit him now, all we get is one truck. Who knows how big the whole package could be. Let him roll. Heads up, 6. Truck's moving.
We're on him.
Let's go down and see what Chico found out.
They're going to stash the load somewhere tonight. Didn't drive out in the morning when the heat's off.
One was giving the orders, who's he?
Never said.
Is he the man who contacted you for the job?
Yeah, but he never used his name.
Any idea where they're taking the truck?
No, they didn't offer any information. And I figured the quickest way to tip them that I was working with you was to start asking a lot of questions.
3, this is 6. Come in.
Come in, 6.
We followed the truck to 775 Dockside. They've stashed it in a warehouse. They're switching the load to a different truck. Want us to bust them?
Negative. Just maintain surveillance.
10-4.
You said you knew the name of the driver.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. Vince Pearl. Works at different jobs. You know, whatever he can hustle. I believe he's staying at the Ocean Hotel.
You decide to answer questions now, with or without a lawyer. You still have the right to stop the questioning at any time for the purpose of consulting a lawyer.
What's this U.S. Treasury bit? ATF? What's going on?
Please listen, Mr. Pearl.
However, you may waive your right to advice of counsel and your right to remain silent. You may answer questions or make a statement without consulting a lawyer, if you so desire.
Yeah. I haven't done anything.
Do you waive these rights I've just explained to you?
Yeah, I don't need that garbage.
May we come in?
Suit yourself. What are you guys trying to pull? I was just about to have a
Let's
sandwich.
save ourselves a waltz around the floor, Mr. Pearl. We know you were involved in the theft of government dynamite and other high explosives at a San Pedro warehouse less than 2 hours ago.
I was only hired to drive.
Who hired you?
Kohler. Paris Kohler. Hey, give me a break, huh? All I did was take a job without asking questions.
Where are you going to drive the truck tomorrow?
Can't we make a deal or something?
You cooperate, it'll be brought to the attention of the U.S. Attorney.
Kohler was supposed to ride with me. Show me the way. It was an overnight trip somewhere. That's all he said. You know he changed trucks. What he should have done was change drivers.
Maybe he will.
You hear that sound? That means 80 pounds of pressure.
The old-fashioned tire gauge.
This is quicker. This here's called a jockey box. You keep all your safety equipment in here. Flares, jack, spare headlights, rope, chains, flashers, tire iron, shovel. Jockey box, you got it?
Got it.
Auxiliary gas tank. Holds 50 gallons. You got 20 gallons here in the seat tank. Now go on around and get behind the wheel. You got extra flares racked in the seat where they're handy. You see your ignition and lights down there on your left. Now you got 2 fuel tanks, huh? But only 1 gauge. Flip this switch to your right and it'll show you what you got in the seat tank. Left, and you read the auxiliary. A gas tank switchover's on the floor. Behind your feet. Flasher switch for hazard lights. Now you got a manual throttle here, manual choke here. Pull her halfway out. Now let her warm up there. Wipers here. Heater, defroster, vent controls. Tail and marker light switch here. Fuses are here in the glove compartment. Now here's where you can make it or break it. Shifting gears. Reverse is down here. You got 5 gears forward. You see this knob? That's your electric over and under. Use it every time you shift. Gives you 10 gears forward. Now the amateur won't bother with it, but the truck driver will always use it, even if he's empty. He'll also start in 2nd gear.
Not low?
Only time he'll use low is when he's heavily loaded and climbing a steep hill. Okay, start her up. This is your tachometer. Run her up to 3,400 RPM in second before you shift. That'll knock her down to 3,000.
I run it up to 3,400 before I shift again.
You're catching on.
Not better. I only got 2 hours to practice before you go to the doctor. Thank you, doctor. Don't worry about the mess.
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, George. Sorry to get you out in the night air, but I needed a quick cover.
No sweat, but it's a tall order at this hour.
Vincent Pearl, ATF Area Supervisor, George Hughes.
Mr. Pearl, I have an idea you know this. This country faces a very serious problem. Both extremes of the political spectrum are stockpiling weapons and explosives. They're building actual arsenals. Now, it's our job to get into those organizations and stop them before they go to war. Now, you're helping us. You're doing the right thing. You know that, don't you?
I just hope it works. For all of us.
Trucker's suntan?
They get a little pale, leaning on the desk all day. Does it look like it's been hanging out of truck window?
Close enough. Come on inside.
Give it a chance to dry.
That's it, Jim. Your credentials.
Says I'm a guy by the name of Mike Logan who's licensed to drive a truck in the state of California. Well, I had a lesson.
Mike Logan. We just gave birth to him tonight, so he doesn't have much history that can be looked into. You keep on top of the conversation with, what's his name?
Paris Cola.
Yeah, don't let him ask too many questions.
We got a time so that I meet him just before he pulls out. You got somebody on it to make sure he doesn't make a phone call?
Yeah, Benson. Coulter's got enough explosives in that truck to blow up half the city. Sure would be nice to know where he's taking it. Pearl come up with anything?
Not exactly, but he said that Cola didn't mention anything about heavy clothing, so he's probably not going north.
Okay. South would take you to the border, but he can't be hoping to get across without the Mexican customs checking his load.
Unless he intends to drive that truck under the Blue Pacific. Probably east. Probably.
We'll try to establish that early. Now, I've alerted the Long Beach office to keep an eye on the Pacific Coast Highway heading south. If you take 405, San Ana will pick you up. San Bernardino will cover the freeway east, Canoga Park, the Golden State, and if you do decide to head north on 101, the Oxnard office will keep track of that. That throws a ring around the whole city. We'll coordinate with a helicopter air watch right down the line if and when necessary. We'll play it by ear, Jim. Try to keep a loose tail on you.
Well, that won't be easy. If Cola wants to avoid traffic, he'll take the back roads.
We radio ahead. Try to arrange to detour you on the main arteries. Now, we'll touch base with you whenever and wherever possible, but there'll be times when we lose contact with you, Jim. You know that. When we do, well, you've been to Treasury School. Now, this time you should go heeled. Stick that in your belt and keep it in plain sight. Kohler's a man who deals in weapons. Let him know you're carrying one.
Gives us one thing in common. Don't worry, it'll dry. Okay, what is it?
O'Hara, isn't this some other way?
Like how?
You give me a phony busted arm and a game plan. The plan don't go down right. They give me 6 feet of real dirt.
Well, you don't have a corner on it.
You don't know Kohler. I don't think anybody does. Something about him. There's a kink in his head. He's nobody to mess around with.
We need your cooperation. We want your cooperation. But officially or unofficially, we're not going to twist your other arm to get it.
Terrific. Officially or unofficially, what are the chances of pulling it off?
No walk in the daisies. We might pull it off. You want to roll the dice?
Well, I guess I wasn't cut out to die of old age. He'll be at the warehouse. If Kohler's too much for you, what I mean is, if you don't get away with it, will you at least let me know? Call me?
If I don't, somebody else will. You tell him?
Yeah. Just the way it happened.
I suppose you tell me. I love adventure stories.
Well, he got into it with a couple of guys over at Danny's. I have to come along.
A little late, wouldn't you say?
Well, I evened it up.
We had an agreement, didn't we? No drinking till after the job.
I only had a couple.
He's telling it right.
You two always cover for each other?
Hey, look, you can take it any way you want, fella. I guess you don't need me.
Hey, what's your name?
Mike Logan, what's yours?
Kohler. You drive a truck?
That's right.
You know, it takes 2 good arms to jockey a 5-tonner loaded.
Good luck.
Well, you got a cute personality for a guy who needs work.
I'm independently poor.
Thought you said he could take over.
Come on, Mike. I told him he'd sit in.
I got a job day after tomorrow. $200 for a haul to Jersey.
Make the same for a quick overnight trip.
What's the load?
All you have to do is shift gears and turn the steering wheel. I'll worry about the rest.
Where's the rig?
Be careful who you drink with, Vince, and what you say.
No sweat, Mr. Kohler.
I hope not. Inside. This one over here.
Is it hot?
Want a written guarantee or $200?
Yeah, I got a hunch the cops would like to know what you're carrying, which means it's risky, which means it's going to cost you $300.
You an opportunist?
I'm a realist. You pay for what you get.
Logan? All right, 300. But you better drive like it's antique glass.
Traffic's pretty heavy. If I knew where we were going, I could take some shortcuts.
You're doing fine.
Yeah, I know this area pretty well. Maybe I could save us some time.
You just keep doing what you're doing until I tell you different.
You're the navigator. Hey, you married?
Not anymore. Why do you ask that?
Just making conversation. Got any kids?
No, I'm happy to say.
Oh, don't you like them?
I didn't say that. Glad I didn't bring any into this messed up world. But I think what would be waiting for them when they... never mind. Hey, you're sure nosy for a truck driver, aren't you?
Just trying to be friendly. Gonna be here for a while. Might as well relax and enjoy it. Vietnam?
Korea, stray fragment from a landmine.
It's a lousy break.
In case you're wondering, I can still take care of myself with this one.
I bet you can.
How long you known Vince?
Couple of years.
He said 3.
He counts like he fights.
You ever have any trouble with the law?
I might have. That'd make a difference.
It might.
I hadn't noticed.
Then start!
Hey, it's a public road. You're just self-conscious.
I said pull over.
tell me we're here.
You're healed. Why?
Well, I got hijacked a couple of times.
Well, if it happens on this trip, I'll give it back to you.
I feel kind of naked without it. I have it back at the end of the trip.
You get at the end of this trip depends on you. Well, let's go. I checked this road 2 days ago. It was clear.
So dump us back on the main highway.
If I wanted to go on the main highway, that's the way I would have planned it. There's got to be a way around this.
I don't think so. You can't take a 5-ton truck and drive it over a cow path. Besides, they're blasting over there.
Maybe this isn't the day. First I lose my driver, now this.
You want to turn back?
I'd rather deliver this truck late than not at all.
Whatever you say. The easiest $300 I made in a while.
All right, go ahead. You take the first cutoff back to this road you can find.
If they don't inspect all the trucks, maybe we'll get lucky.
Better hope so.
Check the load.
That'll be up to you to convince them not to.
Something wrong, officer?
I see your way bill, please.
Yeah, here.
Hardware?
That's right.
It says Bakersfield. You're going the long way, aren't you?
We hit a detour a few miles back.
You know your left rear tire's a little low?
Well, I could use some air. Thanks for covering me. Anything on Cooler?
No, still checking.
Yeah, try the military. He said he was in Korea. What's the next contact?
Depends on your gas tank. Got agents all along. Just stay away from detours. Any idea where you're headed?
Nope. Well, thanks. I'll take care of it, officer.
There's a return to your side road about a half a mile ahead.
Thanks.
Make a safe trip.
Not bad at all. Held yourself pretty well in tight spots, Logan.
I've been around.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but traffic on the main highway's got the right of way.
Hey, don't read me any traffic rules. Look what you did to my truck.
Could have been worse.
You truck jockeys think you own the whole road.
And look, we both took about the same amount of damage. What do you say we call it even?
I don't see it that way.
Come on, Billy Joe. We're going to be late for the party. Now, we've driven over 100 miles for
Now, you just hang on a minute, Laurie.
Well, let's turn this over to our insurance companies. Let them settle it.
Yeah, sure, Billy Joe. Your old truck ain't hurt anyway.
Laurie, I told you to hush up. Now, it looks like you owe me about $150.
Hey, you're pushing your luck, boy.
Come on, we're not going to settle anything here.
We can settle plenty. You just tell me which one of you wants to start settling first.
How about me?
Now, let's not take this thing real serious. You be careful with that thing, because I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
If you put a bullet in him, there'll be 100 cops out looking for this truck. Now, is that what you want?
All right, let's go.
Might as well gas up and check that tire.
Okay.
Fill her up?
And the left rear tire.
Right.
You got a payphone here?
Yeah, in the office.
As long as we burn Case at the truck stop and me here, you're getting a new tail. A couple of fishermen in a station wagon. Dole and Roberts from San Bernardino. They'll pick you up along the highway.
This joker keeps checking the rearview mirror, so tell him to give us a loose shag.
You know your destination yet?
Not yet. He won't open up.
By the men's room around the back.
Well, we needed a driver. There's nothing else I could do. No, he doesn't know anything. You don't have to worry. Well, right outside Victorville in the gas station. Maybe 6 hours? Yes, sir. We're driving straight through. His name is Mike Logan. Vince said he's okay. I think he's right. We could use a good permanent driver. Yes, sir. I understand. Hey, Logan, you want a cold drink?
Yeah, anything. Be on the road at least another 6 hours.
What's your average speed?
55.
Well, at least we know your radius. Well, that'll be $20 even. Hey, if you're planning to head across the desert, the next tank full's going to cost you a lot more.
I'll remember that. If we head across the desert.
What time is it?
11.
I could use a cup of coffee.
We'll be making a stop pretty soon. Always eat what the truckers do. Terrific.
At least it's open.
Hi, boys. Coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Thought I knew most of the guys that come through here.
Well, it's not my regular route.
Too bad.
I could make a detour.
Ask for Sandy.
I'll do that.
Hey, can we have that coffee?
You must be in a hurry, honey.
Big operator.
I get by.
Eat, sleep, and hustle women.
Hey, don't knock it.
Nobody has to worry about me.
Well, evening, everybody. Hot night and getting hotter, huh? Sandy, honey, rustle me up a picture of something nice and frosty, huh?
Coming up, Mr. Harper.
Oh, hi, Fred. You boys mind sharing with a tired old man? Name's Addison Harper. I got a little place a few miles from here. My goodness, it is hot, huh?
Here you are, honey.
Oh, Sandy, baby, someday you just gotta marry me here. Hold on. Bring my friend something. You gentlemen will allow me the privilege, since I kind of barged in. What'll it be?
Nothing for me. I'm working.
How about that coffee? And we'd like to see a menu.
Your very good health, gentlemen. Like what you said, young man. Even a beer when you're driving. I hadn't just had the gosh awfulest day. I wouldn't touch this myself. The clean life. Yes, sir. That's the only way. Clean living and hard work never hurt anyone.
Can't argue with that.
You believe in intuition, young fella?
I've played a few hunches.
Well, my intuition tells me you're my kind of people. You drive a truck, huh?
That's right.
You ever need a job, you look me up. Addison Harper. Folks around here know me, okay?
I'll keep it in mind, thank you.
Don't mention it. Oops, I gotta get going. Some dandy doings. This should cover the three of us.
Much obliged.
Keep it cool, folks. Keep it cool.
You know those two fellas over there? Friends of mine. They offered me a trip to Bakersfield when they come back through. Even gave me a $5 tip.
Nice fellas.
You, married?
No.
Stick Sands. Not bad.
I'm not very hungry.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Oh.
Maybe I will have a sandwich rare.
Steak sand, rare.
Changed our minds. Forget it. Just the coffee.
Listen, the gent wants a steak sand.
It's all right, forget it.
And, keep the change.
What's the hurry?
$300, I get the privilege. Turn off there. All right, pull up, kill your lights.
What's all this?
Just a little insurance. Anybody following us is going to have a long ride for nothing.
Got the road, take it.
Come on, Billy, honey. Bathroom.
Must have been some party. I hope he kills himself.
Myself.
Logan!
They can still be alive down there.
All right, get back in the truck.
If I don't,
then I pull this trigger.
And who will drive the truck?
I said get back in here.
Take it easy, Laurie.
Caller?
Billy Joe.
Come on, we're gonna help, Laurie.
All right, you played Boy Scout. Now let's get out of here.
Billy Joe.
Now we gotta get her to the hospital.
We aren't making any side trips.
Please, no.
Here.
What happened?
I went off the road about 10 miles south of here, Route 58.
Friend of yours?
Her name is Laurie something. She had a guy with her. She called him Billy Joe. He didn't make it.
Police are going to have a report on this.
Come on, Logan. We're on a tight schedule.
Yeah. I want you to listen to me and don't say anything. My name is Jim O'Hara, United States Treasurer. I want you to call the police. Tell them to contact the nearest ATF office.
Logan, we've made enough side trips.
Square that with the police, huh?
Get ready for a right turn this side road up there. Right there. Follow this road around back to the barn.
boys. I see you made the trip safely.
I don't know how safe it was.
No trouble we couldn't handle, sir.
Very good work.
Thank you, sir. And, sir, I'd like to suggest we found a permanent replacement for Vince.
I imagine you'd both like to clean up. Major Cola will show you. Let's get this unloaded, gentlemen.
It's like the Army.
With one exception. My men are all volunteers for the duration of the emergency.
Emergency?
Briefing sessions in 1 hour.
Come on. You get all the answers at the briefing.
Look, if it's all the same to you, I'll take my $300 and pass. I was never very large with guns.
Hit you hard, huh? Yeah, I know how you feel. But when you've had a while to think it over, you come to the right decision.
Hey, all I am is a truck jockey.
That's all you'll be. Truck jockeys, clerks, signalmen, ordnance, supply. We need them all. And little by little, we're getting them. You know why, Logan? Because little by little, men like you are coming to the realization that there is an insidious plot to destroy our democracy. One day, sooner than they think, we'll be ready for them.
Mr. Harper, a real estate car coming into the area.
These city dudes are always trying to separate me from my property. Now just keep out of sight, everybody.
How could a real estate agent know how important this property really is? Truck stop, remember? That's that highway patrolman.
All right, take him. He's the man. All units, come ahead. U.S. Treasury, ATF.
Treasury?
Turn around. Hold your fire. You're outnumbered.
That's good timing.
Police relayed a message from the hospital. Incidentally, the girl's gonna be all right.
Logan, or whatever your name is.
And under the Constitution, you have the right to remain silent.
Constitution? Don't you tell me about that meaningless scrap of paper.
Well, I guarantee you at least one thing. The right to a fair and speedy trial.
Next on A&E, an espionage thriller from behind the Iron Curtain. Darren McGavin and Fritz Weaver star in Berlin Affair. Next.
whack of a name.
Well, this thing isn't down the drain yet, Jim.
Let's go through it again. Maybe we missed something. 2 thefts. When was the first one reported?
We learned about it last week. One of the actual thefts occurred over a month ago. Victim filed a claim loss, and the insurance investigator notified us.
That's pretty cold.
On that one, but on the second heist, no. That happened only day before yesterday.
Day, right in broad daylight.
Looks like it.
Somebody's got a good thing going.
And it seems to be snowballing. Now, let's pack it in. It's getting late. We'll pick it up in the morning. Grab that, will you?
Oh, Harold. Yeah, this is Mr. Hazard's office. Oh, wait a minute. We'll be right there. The guy you were supposed to meet, maybe we'll see him after all.
1284 clear. 11A. 12A15, roger. 12A17. 12A17, cancel your caller call. 12A15 has handled.
This was in his pocket with your phone number on it, Mr. Hazard, so I called you. Was Customs interested in this man?
Well, that depends, Sergeant.
Yeah, who is he?
Driver's license is issued to a Robert Jenkins. Card says he worked at the airport, freight handler.
We were interested.
We've been playing hide and seek with this guy. We got to meet with him, but he didn't keep it.
Mind telling me about what?
We hope to get some information from him about import thefts.
This was on him when the patrolman found him.
That was in that last stolen shipment of air freight?
I'll have to book this as evidence. So I guess that does it, unless you can give me a handle.
No, I'm afraid not. He called me twice, but he didn't tell me his name or where he was calling from.
Hijacked import stuff, huh?
That's right. Sergeant Wall, I'd like to ask your cooperation on something. Special Agent O'Hara has just been brought into this investigation. I'm going to set up a special meeting at the airport tomorrow. I'll take a whole new tack. That means you're giving us a clear field at that end.
No problem. If I get anything, you'll hear.
Thanks. We'll keep you informed on our end.
Funny what people kill for. Hunk of green stone.
Part of a shipment worth $200,000.
You know, if Jenkins hadn't changed his mind about meeting you, you'd have a case.
He'd still be alive.
There's an average of over 180 flights arriving here every 24 hours, 30 of them ours. Why is my line singled out for these thefts, and now this murder?
Because you're a major international carrier and all the thefts have involved imported merchandise.
I understand that, but Jenkins is one of our employees, and I'm vitally concerned with that.
Have you run a check on your employees lately?
Yes, of course. We have an excellent employee record.
How long had Jenkins worked for you?
8 years.
How about recent employees?
I can provide you with a complete checked list.
How about airport security?
Well, they've doubled their force in the past year, but it'll take an army to watch every piece of freight that goes through here.
Let's get a clear picture of what happened. International cargo was unloaded here, checked by a customs inspector, then transported here to a warehouse.
Well, the custom broker pays the import duty, calls his client, informs him that his shipment has arrived and is ready to be picked up.
Dick, what's the name of the broker that handled the hijack shipment of jade? Elliot Wyndham.
Mr. Wyndham does a lot of business with our line. In fact, he supplies our prime customers.
Wyndham.
His brokerage represented both of the stolen shipments.
Well, that can't be anything but pure coincidence.
Mr. Hollander, we deal with the customs brokers all of the time. The record has been close to perfect. Jim, are you reaching for something?
Well, anything that might go together. Well, what's the distance between here and here?
A little less than a quarter of a mile.
Is the area guarded?
It's right out in the open. Hardly seems anybody try to steal anything there.
But the thefts could have occurred between these 2 points.
In customs jurisdiction.
The shipment of jade had a fat retail value. I assume Mr. Wyndham's client was insured.
It's a safe bet.
The duty's paid. The importer is paid in full for his losses. Neat and tidy.
Not so neat and tidy for our airline, Mr. Miles.
Or for the man that was killed or for his family. But it is for the people that set up this operation, Mr. Hollander.
We're convinced that these thefts are the result of a highly efficient organization.
Beginning with somebody that knew the value of the shipments, when the flights were coming in, how they were going to be unloaded, and where they were going to be taken.
All right. How do you stop them?
Mr. Hollander, I want to put 2 men under, ostensibly on your payroll. That'll require your expediting their job applications. They'll be Special Agents O'Hara and Miles. Only you will know they're with Customs. We'll clear it with Union.
Certainly. Anything I can do. But would that be pretty dangerous? never knowing who you might be dealing with. And Jenkins' death was not an accident.
You just play it straight, Mr. Hollander, when you read what my background's going to be.
Thank you. You can report to the warehouse.
Much obliged. That about does it, Miss,
Williams. If you'll just sign your name at the bottom, Mr. Ryan.
Sure. Something wrong?
Oh, no, I guess not. You have quite a background, Mr. Ryan.
Personnel file is strictly confidential, isn't it?
It is. What did you do before?
Now, what does it say, Mrs. Williams?
It says you were in prison. It also says you're to be given an opportunity, so you work the day shift from 7:30 to 3:30. You're to report to the cargo supervisor. His name is Mr. Mallory.
That's right. Welcome aboard. The fellow over there is Les Williams. Introduce yourself. Give him a hand. He'll teach you the ropes. Brian, did you ask for this shift, or was it assigned to you?
I didn't know I had a choice. Hi, Eddie Ryan.
Les Williams.
Mallory wants you to show me around.
Nothing much to the job, just a strong back and jump when Mallory says jump. Welcome to the ramp rats. You know how to drive a donkey?
Grab it by the ears?
Better get a pair of gloves for tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much outside work lately.
Just because you're new don't mean you sit back and watch us do all the work.
Oh, I don't know. I might get sunstruck.
Man, I don't care if you get German measles. Give us a hand. I still say if Koufax hadn't come up with that saw arm, he'd have broken every pitching record in the book.
Yeah, he might have.
Well, how do you like it so far? Kind of dull, huh?
It's a living. It can't be dull all the time. I heard there was a shipment stolen out here the other night.
Yeah, some kind of oriental carvings. Jade, I think.
How'd they get away with it?
I don't know. Somebody must have snatched them before they got to the customs warehouse, I guess.
Right out here in this open space? You'd think somebody would have spotted it.
You'd think so. Hi, honey. Kathy, meet Eddie Ryan. He just started today. Eddie, meet the new bride.
Mr. Ryan and I have already met. I logged him aboard.
Sure. Listen, I'm sorry I had to start without you, honey. There's a flight due in. I'll see you later.
Wait. The guys with Mallory, who are they?
One on the left's a big-time customs broker, Wyndham. Man with him don't know his name, works for Wyndham. Other one's the VP in charge of this airlines, Holland.
You know, it's inconceivable to me that you wouldn't have maintained the tightest security on that shipment.
Mr. Wyndham, we do the best we can with what we've got.
You should be informed, Mr. Hollander, that unless that shipment of art objects is recovered, we're prepared to take our client's business to another airline.
I'll split it with you.
You got anything?
Just blisters on my calluses.
Any idea how?
I'm working too close to the jam. The ammo and the thefts?
Sergeant Wall has the bullet that killed Jenkins. 45 automatic ammo.
Well, that's something.
And Hollander gave me a list of the recently hired employees. It includes Harry Wilson and Peter McAdams. We ran them through R&I. They're clean, but I thought you might like to keep an eye on them.
I met him. What about Wyndham?
Well, we're running an inquiry on him, too. Nice and discreet, but so far he seems straight.
Yeah, he and one of his assistants gave us the grand tour yesterday. They're mighty unhappy.
Now, you keep rolling, Jim. Maybe you'll come up sevens. We'll give him something to smile about.
Okay.
A couple of these boxes came loose. I didn't want to lose them.
Gotta move on. Get the stuff out of here.
Yeah. I intercepted it off an incoming European flight. It's locked.
Customs jurisdiction, we can open it.
Wilson short-stopped it. Put it on domestic luggage. Diamonds. All right, call Hazard, fill them in. Stash these in a public locker. Hazard will want to notify the importer that we're going to hold these until we can work something out.
Chief got the okay from the diamond importer. He'll play along. We also set up a 24-hour surveillance along the locker. The number's 637. Filed off the number like you asked, Jim. We're getting close.
Wilson and McAdams are the bottom rung of the ladder.
But whoever's supposed to pick this up is going to be more than a little surprised.
I'm holding the hot dice. They got to come to me.
But they know you've got it?
I was the only guy around.
Anyone ever tell you got to buy a ticket when you want to get into a ball game? Inside. Somebody took something today that didn't belong to him.
Well, who does it belong to?
First, let's talk about who's got it.
An attaché case.
That's right.
Like that one over there.
Empty. Okay, Ryan, where's the stuff?
Waiting to be picked up.
If I were you, I wouldn't keep it waiting too long.
Maybe we ought to sit down and talk about it.
Pete, hold it.
Yeah, Pete, think of all the noise it's going to make and how many people are going to come running.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll take you someplace where there's nobody around. Put it away. This still doesn't mean you're out of the woods.
You waste me, you're never going to find out where the stash is. How are you going to explain that?
Who said we had to explain it to anybody?
Come off it, Wilson. You can't unload all that merchandise by yourself.
Well, what merchandise?
Diamonds, jade, who knows? There must be 1,000 lockers at the airport. Now, this key opens one of them. You'll notice there's no number on it. Now, you want to guess what locker it opens, or you want to play it my way?
Okay, Ryan, what do you want?
In for a piece.
Forget it. We're not an equal opportunity organization.
That's a pretty big decision for you to make on your own, isn't it?
We'll let you know.
One more thing. I'm a little short on bread. Like about $500 for the key.
No, don't push your luck, Ryan.
I'm holding a pat hand.
Stick by the phone, we'll call you. If there's a deal, we'll meet you at 10th and Industrial.
I'd like it a little more public. Arcade Theater, Temple Street.
You know something, Ryan? You keep pushing, you're going to get burned real bad. You dream on that.
I'm all right. I got my security blanket.
Come on.
For half a minute, I thought we'd come in and shooting from the hip.
You get it all?
Every sweet word of it. I'm your witness, if we ever get to trial.
It's very comforting having you around. Yes, James O'Hara. I'd like to speak to Ben Hazard, please. Yeah, Ben. Wilson and McAdams just left. I offered them a deal. They're going to check it out. Yeah, if you okay it, I'm going to give them the key to the locker. That's right. Invitation to join the organization. No sweat. Miles had his ear to the door. Yeah, maybe this time we roll a 7. Okay. Get a look at the heat Wilson was carrying?
Automatic.
Yeah, 45. The ballistic report on Jenkins' murder. The gun was a 45. Wilson's first suggestion for a meet was industrial intent. Hello. I don't sound so happy about it. I'll be there.
Wilson?
Yeah, he says we talk now. Get that report to Hazard on Wilson's gun. Local PD might be interested. Also the address.
Industrial intent?
Yeah, right near the burned out building where Jenkins' body was found.
All right.
Where's the key?
Where's the cash?
Okay, the number. Come on, the locker number.
Goes with the other half of the deal, the meet.
Oh, you're cute.
You got the key, Wilson, and you haven't got the number. Now run along like a nice little errand boy and tell your boss when he's ready to talk. I'll listen.
You'll be contacted. Let's go.
Got an extra ticket to the ball game tomorrow night if you'd like to go.
No, I can't, Les. I'm busy.
What's she look like?
Now watch out!
Eddie! My arm! I think it's busted. My head's coming apart at the seams.
Just take it easy. You'll be all right.
Is he hurt bad?
Yeah, get an ambulance.
Okay.
Had an accident.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That kid could have gotten killed by that accident you set up for me.
We set up? You gotta be kidding.
I mean, who would want to hurt a sweetheart like you?
Now, those crates didn't fall. They were pushed.
We've been working right here all the time. Check with Mallory.
You couldn't stand the idea of all that stuff lying in a locker somewhere. So you decided to knock me off, play key in the lock until you found the right one. Now, fellas, that splits it right down the middle. Before I asked for a deal, now I'm not asking, I'm telling you.
Why don't you cool it? I said you'd be contacted.
I just got contacted by 1 ton of air freight. Now, meet the man. I meet him tonight. If that sounds like a squeeze play, you both get A.
Suppose the man don't want to listen.
Then I'll talk to somebody who will listen, like Customs. Play that one on him. Mrs. Williams, how is he?
A broken arm, a concussion, and he's under sedation.
I just came by to tell you I'm sorry it happened and to see how he is.
You know, you were awfully lucky you weren't hurt. May I ask you a question, Mr. Ryan? Do you really believe what happened to Les was an accident?
Don't you?
With all the theft that's going on, I don't know.
You don't think Les was involved?
Not Les. I was thinking about your past. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
Don't apologize.
Mr. Ryan, isn't it possible that for some reason that accident was meant for you and not for my husband?
Anything is possible, Mrs. Williams.
Like Mr. Jenkins?
Who?
Bob Jenkins. You must have read about him in the paper. He's the man who was murdered because...
Know why Bob Jenkins was killed?
Well, you know what everyone's saying.
Oh, what are they saying?
Oh, it's just gossip. You can't stop people from talking when something like that happens. He worked as a ramp rat. Now, he must have known something about those thefts.
You think Les does, too?
Frankly, I was thinking you were the one who should be talking to the police.
Don't you think that if either one of us knew anything at all, we'd both be talking to them?
I wonder what he would say if he knew who you really were. But don't worry, Mr. Ryan. Your past will remain in the files and confidential. I wouldn't want to destroy the way he feels about you. You see, he thinks of you as a friend. He told me to tell you those tickets to the baseball game. Now, there's yours if you want them. He said to go and take your girlfriend.
Thank you, but I still can't go.
Sergeant Wall wanted to talk, Jim. I told him about that 45 that Wilson was packing.
Wilson's clean, no prior. The 45, he hadn't registered ownership to any handgun.
They want to pick him up for questioning.
Well, we could blow our case and send him to cover.
I'm sure you can understand our problem.
Yeah, if Wilson's the killer.
Well, we've already got enough suspicion for a search warrant. We locate the automatic. Simple matter of a ballistics match.
Well, I'll admit there's enough suspicion. But suppose you haul him in, make the ballistic test, and then come up empty.
Sergeant, it's obvious that Wilson is tied into the thefts, but we need him and McAdams loose to lead us to the top.
And we're getting warm. I just paid a call on a guy with a broken arm that was meant for me.
You people standing pretty close to Wilson?
Yeah, we're keeping a constant loose surveillance on him.
All right, let me check with the captain of detectives. Maybe we can put it off for a while.
How long?
Well, I don't want to put you in a bind, O'Hare, but we're playing it close to the vest as is.
Oh, we appreciate that fact, Sergeant. Thanks. Jim, looks like you're going to have to push a little harder.
Only we're running out of time. Okay, 20 minutes. How's the mustard?
We should lay in something else beside bologna.
Quiet.
Who was that?
New voice, we gotta meet.
Join you, Mr. Ryan?
Who are you?
A man who admires the creative spirit and is sometimes a bit troubled by it.
Well, your voice does sound familiar.
That's right. It was I who called you. I've been told you're interested in joining our organization. Suppose I were to tell you that we have no openings right now.
Then I suggest you make one.
There are always exceptions. Understand we'd have to go over your application very carefully.
Until then, don't make waves.
Only until we clear you.
We?
We employ a man, a private investigator. A lot of doors open for him when the price is right.
You keep saying we. When do I start playing with the first team?
Who says you are?
Look, I don't care what any private investigator says. Unless I meet the man at the top, I keep holding.
The number of that locker at the airport?
And if I don't meet him, I've got a clear fix in the bottom of this operation.
Only the bottom.
You want to bust something? Kick out the bottom. Everything falls.
Is that a threat?
You have until day after tomorrow to put me on the payroll.
Eddie, don't misunderstand me. What we've heard about you so far we like, especially the way you handled Wilson and McAdams.
The Muscle Beach twins.
I'm sure you understand we have to be very cautious. That's why we're going to hold you up to the light for a good long look. Get a clear picture of exactly who and what you are.
And if it prints, send me a copy for my scrapbook.
If it doesn't, buy yourself a black tie.
Okay, Ben? Yeah, roll it on. We got a make on him, Jim. His name is Paul Fedderson. He's a fence. Deals only in expensive, high-quality merchandise. Up until the last 6 months, he operated exclusively on the East Coast.
That's it?
On Sunday, I usually see a double feature.
From now on, this is it. Sundays, Mondays, and all that.
The guy that was driving the car, I didn't get a good look at him.
Neither could we. So we had DMV run a make on the license plates. Cars registered to Elliot Wyndham.
That doesn't nail anything down.
Put suspicion squarely on Wyndham.
Yeah, but only suspicion.
Yeah, we couldn't move on him with what we've got.
Surveillance on that locker at the airport? No one's even gone fishing.
So we just have to keep feeding it quarters.
Maybe we feed it something else.
You reaching again, Jim?
Just an idea.
You got any idea when they may contact you?
Their source is checking me out now.
Paul Fedderson? He say who or what his source might be?
Private detective, no name?
You sure nobody followed you here?
Up until now, they bought me.
Yeah, and they'll sell you down the river just as fast if it suits their purpose.
I've been that diamond importer. Can you get in touch with him today?
That's important.
So far, he's been cooperative, hasn't he?
Very.
Let's call him. Do you walk through doors?
The manager let me in. I told him we were old friends. Eddie Ryan, born in Pittsburgh, moved to Chicago when you were a kid, high school dropout. From there, you went on to bigger and better things. 7 arrests, 2 convictions, released from Joliet after serving 5 years for armed robbery. Since your release, you've had a lot of different jobs. Truck driver, short order cook.
The boys have been busy, got everything but my middle name.
Charles. Edward Charles Ryan. Sit down.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You've been voted in.
How much?
I'm sure we can arrive at a figure.
No figures. I want a piece of the action.
Eddie, we have a big overhead. A lot of mouths to feed.
10% for every job I work.
I'm not authorized to make that kind of a deal.
I keep telling you I want to deal with the man at the top, and you keep showing up. Now, when are we going to stop wasting my time?
And we see how we make out tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
A score? We can use you.
Spell it out.
There's no need for you to know now. Somebody will fill you in on the details at the airport tomorrow.
Wilson?
You'll see.
I don't like it. Another job right on top of the jade.
And the diamonds. You want it in?
I'm not buying in for a quick trip back to the place.
Relax. There's no way anybody can give us the slightest bit of trouble. Welcome aboard, Eddie.
Friendly guy. Almost walked in the middle of my bologna sandwich without mustard.
Yeah, tell him.
Ryan. I understand you're in.
Yeah, with a no-cut clause in my contract.
I voted against you.
And I thought we were buddies.
I don't like you, Ryan. You might as well know it.
You gonna talk about me or the score?
Flight 218 is doing exactly 30 minutes. When it lands, a catering truck is going to pull up at the end of the dock. Driver's one of ours.
And me?
You'll be driving your rig. Pete and I will be unloading the freight from 218. We'll slip a canister on your load.
Yeah, what's in it?
Nobody's paying you to ask questions. Just play your hand the way it's dealt. It'll look like a food canister. All you gotta do is get it to the driver of the catering truck.
That's all.
That's enough first time out. Oh, and Ryan, blow it short to rear.
You getting bored, partner?
Try this on 2 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Next time you can tail Feddersen to his house and sit on it. Well, nothing happens. That's right. The man went home and went to sleep. No visitors. Of course, I couldn't invite myself in to listen to his phone calls.
Maybe this will wake you up. Wilson and McAdams are going to try to score off incoming flight 218.
How does it go?
They're going to make the lift, pass the ball to me. I'm going to drop it off to the driver of the catering truck.
Drop what off?
Food canister.
You're going through with it? All the way?
I'm going to make them think I am. This has got to be quick. 218 gets in 20 minutes. We'll need a standard food canister.
Can do.
If what I have in mind works, it'll lead us right to the guy at the top with enough evidence to nail him.
Our friend, Mr. Wyndham.
Well, you guess as good as I do.
Mystery Theater returns to O'Hara, U.S. Treasury.
Looks like everything went okay.
Looks like it.
Now, that'll get you some bread, Ryan.
You gonna deliver it? Do I pick it up?
Your place, 9 o'clock tonight.
Ryan? This is the guy.
I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Ryan.
Yeah, what about?
It'll only take a minute. Do you have any objections? Thanks, Mallory.
Sure.
We had a look at your background file, the personnel.
Great.
And anything when I say we, that doesn't include Mr. Mallory.
A lady told me those files were confidential.
And they will be. And anything passes between us, it will be the same.
All right, let's get to it.
Put yourself in our place, Mr. Ryan. This airport has been victimized by every kind of a thief, from dips to high starters. Now, the line you're working for is hit with a series of major crimes. Now, that comes under the custody and jurisdiction of Customs. But we have our problems, too. 5 years armed robbery, 7 arrests, 2 convictions. Oh, man does his time, learns his lessons. Some men do.
I'm clean.
Well, I just thought you might want to cooperate with us, that's all. You know, a fellow in your position hears a lot of things.
I'm the soul of cooperation.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're gonna pin a tail on me from here on out?
Any reason why we should?
Yeah, take my advice, don't. I can all of a sudden get hard of hearing. Security officer asked me all the right questions. Wilson and McAdams saw it.
Couldn't move you up in their estimation. You got any idea what you were supposed to steal this afternoon?
Nope.
Extremely valuable antibiotic drug, genomycin. Could go over $100,000 mark on the street.
That's receipt in a high-stakes game.
Question. What happens to you when the man finds out he's holding a sack of plain kitchen variety flour instead of those drugs?
We'll find out at 9 o'clock.
Playing it awful close to the edge, Jim.
The man we're dealing with is smart, Ben. Always deals through a middleman, Feddersen. And only way we're gonna nail him is with possession of stolen air freight.
Or what he thinks is stolen air freight. All I'm asking you to be is careful, Jim. A man at the top could decide to waste you instead of getting his drugs back. Look, we'll keep you covered as close as we can. But what I'm saying is, if it looks like you're going to get knocked out of the box, don't hesitate to duck. We'll come running just as fast as we can.
All right, Ben.
Okay.
Get in the car.
Do our business inside?
Somebody wants to meet you now. Yeah, Ryan, you're finally going to get to see the man, just like you wanted.
Yeah, where?
Got a place all picked out. Just get in the car, sit back, and relax.
What am I supposed to call you?
Mr. Blake, get in. We have a lot to discuss.
You must have seen me around the airport.
I saw you once with that custom broker, Wyndham.
That was a tidy job this afternoon.
What was?
Switching those canisters, taking those drugs, leaving me holding a sack of flour.
Always bake a cake.
I admit my first impulse was to get rid of you. Permanently.
What changed your mind?
Well, maybe because I admire a man of your many talents. I assume you took those drugs to offer me some sort of proposition for their return.
Man has to take advantage of every opportunity in life.
Suppose I offer you another thought. You keep the drugs. I'll even arrange for a buyer to take them off your hands. Of course, I'll expect a little favor from you in return.
I'm listening.
I have a key to a locker at the airport. There's something in that locker that belongs to me. I want you to pick it up. I believe you're the only one who knows the number.
That's it?
That's it. Plain and simple.
Too plain, too simple.
There's no catch, Eddie. I'll be leaving the country shortly. I want to take the contents of the locker with me. You understand?
Rich get richer.
As a matter of fact, I must admit, I have managed to build up quite a sizable bank account in South America these past few months. That canister you intercepted was to have been my last transaction.
And I fouled it up.
I thought it over. I can afford to be generous to my employees, especially when they're questioned by airport security officers and keep their mouths shut. The drugs are worth a lot of money, Eddie. They can belong to you.
What about those two? They're not just going to sit by while a Johnny come lately makes a big score.
They've already been paid for their services. Well, Eddie, what's your answer?
Give me the key.
Okay, McAdams.
Have it, Eddie. Thank you. Beautiful, aren't they? Are they all here? Wouldn't be like you if you didn't take some for yourself as a souvenir.
He was looking over my shoulder all the way.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Very well. Get in. To catch.
Gentlemen?
You didn't really think I'd let you keep those drugs.
I know when I pick up a cue in a game of dirty pool. But I got one thing going for me. I know where they are. You don't.
I'm sure the boys will be able to convince you to give them that information.
You can depend on that, Ryan.
I don't like cheap street corner hoodlums who weasel their way into my affairs. I especially don't like you or your tactics.
Don't I get A for effort?
How about 6 feet of private real estate? Aren't you going to wish me a good flight?
You and Mr. Wyndham?
Mr. Wyndham? Oh, my, you are naive. Mr. Wyndham's one of those fools who believes in honesty, hard work, and small profit. I gave him a chance, just a partnership. That's all I wanted.
Hey, Blake?
Stay put. Stay right there, Ryan.
Take another look in that bag, unless you intend on leaving the country with a handful of glass.
Ryan, I'm going to enjoy this.
How far are you going to get if you kill me?
The diamonds! I saw them!
Look again, they're imitation. You're bluffing, you're lying. One way to find out. Ever try to break a diamond? Or put them under your heel, try to break them. If they're real, you're not going to hurt them. If they're not, you got a handful of glass. Treasury Customs.
Good. You hold him until I get there. What? Well, that's more good news, thanks. We just picked up Fedderson screaming lawyer at the top of his lungs.
He'll need a good one.
And McAdams is still talking. He named Wilson as Jenkins' killer and wants to testify.
About wraps it up.
Sorry, gentlemen, I don't understand. Why was Jenkins killed?
He had a piece from that jade shipment on him when he was found. He must have known about Wilson and McAdams, probably threatened them with exposure, but just didn't have the muscle to bring it off.
And all the thefts took place right here, huh?
Yeah, it looks that way.
But you can't be sure.
Well, we know about the diamonds and the drugs. It's reasonable to assume they used a similar ammo on the other 2 hijackings. But McAdams, I'm sure, will want to tell us about that, too.
Blake.
What's that, Mr. Wyndham?
Blake. He worked for me almost 10 years. Came to me highly recommended. I never once suspected he could be involved in anything like this.
And the use of your office, your car.
In the name of my firm, I spent 25 years building my reputation.
Well, Mr. Wyndham, we don't come across one like this very often.
Well, thank you for all you've done. All of you.
We have our job, you have yours.
Want to go to a live show at the Roxy?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
The Righteous Brothers take the stage tonight.
Now, a murder case has Jim on the run.
Great way to get in shape.
Let's watch The Rockford Files, next on A&E.
It's time well spent.
find much gold here.
I think positive, William. Any lead on Burton T. Craig is worth a follow-up. Maybe this will be the mother lode.
Who is it?
Jim O'Hara.
You didn't say there'd be two of you.
But it's policy, Mrs. Madrid. This is Special Agent William Clark.
All right, come in. I'm still not sure I called the right number. I mean, the Internal Revenue Service is divided into so many different... Are you inspection or intelligence?
Intelligence.
If someone cheats on their income tax, does that come under you?
Criminal evasion, yes.
Now, if someone hid the fact that he has interests in many different businesses, makes a lot of money from it, but doesn't declare it, would that be interesting to you?
Fascinating.
Burton T. Craig?
King Spider the First.
The one who lives in Crystal Springs?
Owns Crystal Springs.
How do you know?
I worked in his office. Looked at his books. Married his bookkeeper. It's a real three-hanky story.
Well, go ahead, Mrs. Madrid.
Well, we wanted to own our own business. Jake was a real billiards nut.
Your husband?
Yeah. Couldn't wait till he was looking full-time down a green felt table instead of a ledger column. So we took everything we had, everything we could borrow. That's when it started.
Oh, what started?
Building inspector. Nothing was right. You know the bit. Then the finance company began making threatening sounds. That is when Burton T. Craig came in. He said if my husband gave him 30% under the table, he'd have the heat turned off. There was a big hassle. That's when Jake laid it on him.
Hit him?
No. He told him about an extra ledger he'd always kept. A summary of all the enterprises that Craig had a hidden interest in. It was Jake's protection. It was time to use it.
Well, did that scare him off?
It seemed to. A couple of days we were ready to open. That's when it happened.
What happened?
An explosion, a fire, a dead husband, me on the street looking at the end of the world. They said it was an accident.
Who said?
Firemen, policemen.
But you don't agree.
Jake had moved the ledger to the billiard parlor. He hid it in a heavy metal box under the floor. He showed it to me. He said, Eve, you're the only one who knows, the only one. That metal box is still there in the ashes, but the ledger is gone. My husband was murdered, Mr. O'Hara.
Mrs. Madrid, we do not investigate state and local crimes unless we are sure they're interrelated with IRS violations.
Then you have no problem. Whoever stole that book is my husband's killer. You've got to find one to find the other. Look, I can give you leads right now. Names, addresses. I read the ledger.
Mrs. Madrid, where can you be reached later on?
Not Crystal Springs, Mr. Clark. I saw the last of Burton T. Craig and Company an hour and a half ago at Jake's funeral. I will see the last of San Francisco in about 15 minutes, and I will be clear out of California by 5 o'clock.
Well, could you let our office know where you'll be?
Yeah. You carry guns?
We're authorized.
Good. In Crystal Springs, you'll need them.
Yes. United States Treasury Special Agents Jim O'Hara, Bill Clark, Internal Revenue Service Intelligence Division to see Mr. Burton T. Craig.
Come in.
A man spent 2 years of his life making this, leaving it for me to enjoy, creating his own memorial. Mr. O'Hara, Mr. Clark, my pilot, Mr. Ellis.
I'm taking Delise back to the ranch now, Miss Green.
I thought she had her own car.
No, I drove her out.
The shortest distance between 2 points does not allow for detours, Al.
Well, you know I'm a good navigator, or you wouldn't have hired me. Right?
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Mr. Craig? We're conducting an investigation to determine if there's been a violation of federal tax laws. But first, it's my duty to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to consult an attorney.
I know. I waive my right to be silent and my right to counsel. My tax returns are prepared by a firm of CPAs. I pay for accuracy. I welcome an investigation.
Is this your last year's income tax?
It appears to be.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
I noticed you list ownership in only one business, the Crystal Springs Savings Loan.
That's correct.
You have no ownership, say, in the Happy Days Motel?
No.
Or the Idle Hours Cafe?
None.
Or the Sterling Hotel?
Of course not. Where do you gentlemen get your... Look, I lend money to many businesses, of course.
Do you have any interest in the Madrid billiard parlor?
The IRS should be more up to date. That place burned down.
Did you know Jake Madrid?
Of course. But isn't it a little late to be checking into his taxes?
These figures will have to be verified, Mr. Craig.
I'll instruct my people to cooperate with you fully.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Well, glad to see you got your report in the mail, gentlemen. I'm Clifford Spry, editor of the local paper. I heard there were Treasury men in town, IRS intelligence. That you? Who you looking into?
I thought maybe you'd know that, too.
Who's going to tell me? I print everything I hear. I could make a guess, though.
Now, you do that.
Well, if you're still here tomorrow and you're still alive and you don't give me a story, I'm going to start following you around.
Now, you won't have to do that, Mr. Spry. We're going to come calling on you at your convenience.
Yeah.
Like a couple of rooms for the night, adjoining.
You've already got them. Mr. Clark, Mr. O'Hara, on the house. We got a 3-room suite in the corner. Mr. Craig called. He thought you might be stopping here. He said to put you in the...
Sorry. We'd like 2 rooms. One for me and one for Mr. O'Hara.
We'll pay for them.
Mr. Craig isn't going to like it.
We'd like a receipt.
Well, let's see. 202 and 203. IRS intelligence, yes, I know.
I'd like to see your motel records, Mr. Riggs.
Books on the motel?
As soon as possible. We'd like to look them over tonight.
You're investigating Mr. Craig's income tax, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you want to know whether I've had any business dealings with him? Well, I have. His savings and loan financed this place, my house, my car. I make payments, principal and interest. But that's it, Mr. O'Hara. I've had no other business dealings with Mr. Craig.
Your books, Mr. Riggs, and we'd also like your cooperation.
Say, it'd be funny if the books made me out a liar, now wouldn't it? I mean, if they showed I had some other dealings with Mr. Craig, that he had some ownership in this place, why, that would be self-incriminating. I'd like to cooperate, but you know the law, Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. And since this is a sole proprietorship and not a
this is a summons, Mr. Riggs, issued under provision of Title 26, U.S. Code, Section 7602. It clearly indicates the time and place you are to appear and the specific records you are to produce.
Summons? But my lawyer said you wouldn't do this. As long as I said what he told me to, and I did, to the letter.
We'll see you in San Francisco in 10 days, Mr. Riggs.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't have to take this.
Mr. Riggs, San Francisco, 10 days. Wrong room. 3-room suite in the corner's the one they had fixed up for us. They'll give them time to get this one ready.
Well, that's true. We don't want to cramp their style. Where'll we go?
Let's go down and see the sheriff, see what he thinks about our being in town. A good agent is a tidy agent, is a neat agent. Sheriff? Sit down. I'm Jim O'Hara. This is Bill Clark, Special Agents, IRS Intelligence. Uh-huh. We're conducting a criminal investigation here in Crystal Springs concerning a certain tax law violation.
So I heard. Burton T. Craig. Small town, O'Hara. We talk to each other. By the way, what has a case against Craig got to do with Jake Madrid?
You do talk to each other.
You want to know anything about Jake Madrid, you talk to me. Here's his file.
Thank you. May we borrow it?
What for?
Is there any reason why we shouldn't?
Your bag's taxes. Madrid's all paid up.
Sheriff, we have no desire to interfere with a case in your jurisdiction. But we are hopeful that that file will have some information we need for our investigation.
Burton T. Craig's a big man in this town. Helped a lot of people in business. You lean on him, you lean on a lot of people.
You too?
Well, so far, Mr. Craig hasn't broken any of my laws. If he does, I reckon you'll get the answer to your question, won't you? Phillips, keep your eye on these two. Let me know when they leave town. Finished? We'll try to keep you safe as long as you're here. Can't guarantee it, however.
We'll risk it.
You just call the sheriff's office if you decide to wander around. The girl in the transmitter will get me. And be careful. It can be a tough town.
Crystal Springs is as dangerous as you and Sheriff Hanna seem to think. Why don't you find out who's responsible and do something about it?
Well, we do the best we can. Getting the proof is a hard thing. Like Jake Madrid. Sheriff Hanna claims he's still working on the case, but
But you don't think so?
Well, if he's got any evidence, he must be keeping it all in his head. Because there sure wasn't much in that file.
He's right about that.
He's a hard man to figure, isn't he? Don't tell the sheriff I said so, because he don't like me doing any detective work. But I think Jake was murdered.
Outside of him eating here now and then, I've never had any business dealings with Burton T. Craig. He doesn't own any part of this place.
I don't believe I asked you that, Mr. Owens.
Well, I got it in anyway, didn't I?
Tell me the rest of it.
As soon as you ask me for my records.
Do you intend to withhold them?
I sure do. On the basis of...
This is a summons, Mr. Owens. It will inform you of the time and place you are to appear and of the specific records you are to bring. Now, you read it over. If you have any questions, we'll be here.
Enjoy your lunch.
Couple of flatland dudes, in my opinion. Yeah, those flatlanders are all like... Must be the smog they breathe. I understand they're here to roust some of the citizens of Crystal Springs. So they're unfriendly, huh? Tell you what, Dave. I'll bet you these two leave town real soon.
You'd lose that bet.
Oh, now, mister, that's downright insulting. Very. Are you insulted? Yeah, Dave.
All right, Red, James, pull it. Come on, outside now. Get going. You want to charge him?
No, not this time.
Was afraid this might happen.
So why didn't you stop it?
Was nothing to stop until it started.
The locals?
Well, they hustle Hereford's for some of the ranchers. Or anything else you pay him to do. The question is, who paid him for this?
Who wants to see us out of town?
Most everybody, I'd say. I'll see they keep moving.
Lively little town.
Friendly. Crystal Springs Savings and Loan, right after lunch.
At least Craig admits owning that one. For once, we won't have to hear that canned Fifth Amendment speech.
Well, that's one set of records they won't stop us from saying.
Don't bet on it. We should have skipped lunch.
Well, I wish we had too, Mr. O'Hara. If somebody had been in the room, this might not have happened. Of course, I'm glad there was no one here to get hurt. I'm afraid our firemen were a little over-enthusiastic.
Someone was.
The records are unreadable.
No copies?
It would take a long, long time to reconstruct them.
You're sure that Jake and Eve Madrid's loan records were among those burnt?
I'm positive.
Put them in a box. We'll dry them out.
Well, I don't think Mr. Craig would...
We'll give you a document receipt listing all the items we get from you.
Well, couldn't you, wouldn't something stronger be better? Like a subpoena, maybe?
Well, we can issue a summons. Will you waive the required 10-day waiting period?
Well, I guess so.
All right. All right.
Well, still healthy? A miracle.
Well, he's a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, I wonder why he's on the get the team in out of town bandwagon. The Record Courier's not on Eve Madrid's list of Craig's hidden ownerships.
Well, she could have missed one. She was working from memory. Oh, boy, what a mess. Kind of fragrant, too.
Anything in there the ATF lab can read for us?
Well, maybe some of it. You know, the smell of this stuff kind of takes me back to when I was a little kid helping my folks rake and burn leaves. The wind kept blowing the matches out, and I carried a big armload of leaves over to a protected place and got them started burning. The only trouble was the protected place happened to be the porch steps.
Burn the house down?
No, my dad turned the hose on it. And I got a rather lengthy speech on the dangers of playing with matches. But I never forgot the smell of soggy burned leaves. Want some more coffee, Jim?
You gotta be kidding.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Jake Madrid's records must have been used for the kindling.
Well, maybe the lab can pull something out of there with chemicals.
We'll give him a shot at it. Who do you say you are? I'm Jim O'Hara. This is Bill Clark, Special Agents, IRS Intelligence.
Well, I paid my taxes. You can check it. Rasmussen. Robert J.
We'd like to know about the fire at the Savings and Loan Company yesterday.
It started in the wastepaper basket.
On purpose?
It's all in the logbook over there.
You have an entry for a fire at Jake Madrid's billiard parlor.
That's right.
You think that was arson?
Look, most of it burned down after an explosion. Near as I can figure, there was a gas leak in the building. It filled up and it exploded.
You sure it was a gas explosion?
Well, there were 20-foot flames shooting out of the gas pipes when we got there. I pulled what was left of Jake Madrid out the back door. It wasn't much and it wasn't pretty, and I don't like talking about it.
Can we have a copy of this?
No, it stays in the firehouse.
We can photograph it.
Are you sure it's legal, you guys fooling around with my logbook?
The fire department's logbook is a matter of public record. Now, this summons is issued under the provisions of Title 26, U.S. Code, Section 7602. Clearly indicates the time and place for your appearance and the specific records you are required to produce.
Well, now what could you two want with an old airplane driver?
Just checking out a few facts about the town. That includes airplane businesses. Why don't you tell us, do you own the plane you fly for Mr. Craig?
Is that what his tax return said? Hey, no. I just fly it, that's all. Wherever Mr. Craig wants to go. It beats pushing choppers.
Army?
9 years.
You know Jake Madrid? No, he worked for Mr. Craig, bookkeeper.
No, you guys aren't here to check out facts about the town. You're checking on Mr. Craig and you've come to the wrong store. Got anything else? No. But then you call me if you want an airplane ride, okay?
Jim, did you ever get the feeling that we'd make a lot of people happy if we just left town?
Oh, I don't know. There's one citizen that's dying to talk to us.
You're looking for Burton T. Craig's hidden ownership in certain Crystal Springs businesses. Well, you'll find no such evidence in these, but you're welcome to look them over. And if that isn't enough reading matter for you, try this.
Well, you just know we're not going to find anything in Mr. Spry's books. When anything comes this easy.
Now look at this. Happy Days Motel. Idle Hours Cafe. They're all here. Sterling Hotel. Eve Madrid's list. All big advertisers and Mr. Spry's record courier. Big advertisers. Sunshine Trailer Park. Maybe we should have called for an appointment.
You think it might get too crowded in there?
Not for long. Sheriff?
Our jurisdiction overlapping again, O'Hara?
Well, I don't know. Are you here on business? Mrs. Hoxie?
Yes.
United States Treasury with Special Agents, IRS Intelligence. I'm Jim O'Hara. This is Bill Clark.
Well, I'm only the manager, my husband and me. San Francisco company owns Trailer Park. They've got books.
So we understand, Mrs. Hoxie.
You do? Then what do you want with me?
What can you tell us about Jake and Eve Madrid? They did live here.
Yes. And that trailer right over there, I understand it's up for sale. She's gone. I don't know where.
Mrs. Hoxley, we understand Mr. Hoxley was present at the fire. Maybe he could tell...
No, he don't know anything, nothing. Just leave us alone.
Well, maybe it's something about us. The sheriff got clear inside. High-powered rifle.
And not a bad shot, either.
Yeah. Looks like I shouldn't have left you two so soon this morning.
Might have made a difference.
Well, I'll have to have Phillips stick closer to you from now on.
More interested in who shot at us.
Of course, naturally.
I don't suppose you have any idea. I mean, after all, this is your territory.
Yes, it is. And I've been racking my brain, and for the life of me, I can't figure out who'd do such a thing. But if you're thinking Burton T. Craig, forget it. No, Mr. Craig's too smart a man to go around assaulting federal officers. But one thing is sure, it's in your jurisdiction.
Attempted murder, doesn't that interest you at all?
Oh, it does. But I just naturally figured that you'd want to take precedence.
Jim, I found a couple of them. The others must have gone clear through.
It's too bad. No good for ballistics. Too mashed up. Your car's pretty well messed up, too, isn't it? I reckon you're going to want to rent another one.
3. I've asked for reinforcements from San Francisco.
Mr. O'Hara, that trailer where you were this morning?
Hoxies?
Just came over the radio. It blew up.
Full of gas is just like a bomb.
Investigation over? Phillips can finish it. You got your kit?
In the car.
See if you can pick up some prints. It's getting real hard for you to mind your own business, isn't it?
Well, Sheriff, on this case, it's hard to know what's my business and what isn't.
You know, Mr. O'Hara, this is the first time the sheriff's ever let me do this alone.
Yeah, why?
Well, he either doesn't think I'm very good, or just doesn't want me to know what's going on. Well, I guess in a mess like this, he figures I can't do much harm, or much good either.
I'll go with him.
Is this one of them?
Yes, it is.
You know what this is doing to us? Trailer busted to pieces. Insurance isn't going to nearly take care of it.
I left to go to the market this morning, but I could have been killed.
A gas explosion, the fire chief said. Do you think it was an accident?
Why wouldn't it be?
I thought maybe you tell me.
Fred, I think maybe
I got nothing to tell you. Nothing.
Jim? We got something. This is the one. The burner was left open. The water heater flame did the rest.
We got some good prints. Some of them will probably be the Hoxies.
Can you actually prove who it was?
You see any of the neighbors hanging around here today?
Mostly transients this time of year. Nobody notices.
Can you prove it?
No, but an expert can. If he gets a full set of prints from a suspect so he can compare them.
Have you got a suspect?
Oh, quit pretending, Fred. You know dang well who it was. Well, are you going to tell him or am I?
He must have known that you were questioning us because he promised to kill me and Eleanor, too, if we told you. The morning Jake Madrid was killed, I was just coming home from work. I worked night shift at the bakery. Well, I seen this fella coming out of the back of the billiard parlor. He got into his car and drove away, but the bad part is he seen me, too.
Was he carrying anything?
Yeah. He had a package about so square and kind of flat.
Oh, Fred, for goodness sakes, get to the point.
Well, this fella I seen, it was that pilot that flies Mr. Craig, Al Ellis.
I think Sheriff Hanna was right about one thing. I can't believe that Craig would give orders to kill the Hoxies and us and Jake Madrid.
Yeah, the worst tax rap he could get wouldn't compare with murder one.
There's something between Craig and Ellis. I noticed that the first time we met.
Yeah, there was an attitude, all right.
Ellis took Craig's girl right out of his own house. David isn't afraid of Goliath. Why not? The package that Ellis picked up at the billiard parlor. Jake Madrid's summary of Craig's books?
It had to be.
Craig sent Ellis to get it.
That figures.
Well, if he turns it over to Craig, he's a peasant. If he keeps it for himself, he's a partner. That's the way he acts. Blackmail.
It fits. I mean, the Hoxies' explosion, the shots at us. Ellis is afraid our investigation of Craig will make him for murder.
What would happen if we could make Craig believe that Ellis doesn't have the book? He never did have it. Joni, this is Jim O'Hara. Mrs. Eve Madrid was supposed to leave an address, did she? Uh-huh, right. What was her sister's name? Yeah. Tucson.
Listen, it's nothing against you personally, Mr. O'Hara, but I was hoping never to hear from Crystal Springs again.
The same thought has occurred to us lately.
Well, all I want to hear is that they've caught the man who killed Jake.
That's what we want to talk to you about.
And that Burton T. Craig has been arrested. Hey, you haven't...
No, but we're close, I think. We need a little help from you, a little acting job.
What, from me?
Yes, you're the star. A special guest appearance. In and out of town in one day.
Crystal Springs?
Bill and I will be on stage with you.
What do I do?
Well, all you have to do is walk into what was once your billiard parlor and walk out with a ledger in your hand.
There's no ledger there. I told you, it's already gone.
You describe it to us, and by the time you get there, it'll be there. I think once around the block should do it. Get any onlookers, play the Fox and the Hound. I'll get it back on foot. Yourself comfortable, Mrs. Madrid.
Are you sure you wouldn't like us to get you a room?
No, thanks. I'm not going to be in town that long. I can get a plane out of here in an hour and a half. I'm sorry I didn't take care of things before I left, but I was upset. You know, my husband was dead. There was the funeral, everything. I couldn't wait to get out. Now I've had time to think. I want to put Burton Craig where he belongs.
You said your husband kept a ledger. Can you produce it?
Absolutely. It'll give you all the proof you need that Burton Craig has concealed his interest in many different businesses.
You sure it wasn't burned in the fire?
It was in a fireproof metal box.
I think for sure the bug in my room works. Craig's man, Garth.
Well, Mrs. Madrid, I thought you'd left town for good.
A little unfinished business.
Yes, it looked to me like you found something in the ashes there. I don't suppose anybody'd be inclined to tell me what it was.
You're right, Mr. Spry. But don't give up. We're not all leaving town.
Thanks for returning my book so promptly. I presume you didn't find anything incriminating in them.
You would have heard from us.
Yeah.
21, this is 20, come in.
This is 21, go.
We have the ledger. The stakeout spotted us. Are you in position?
Roger. 21 is in position.
Advise us of all movements.
Roger, 20. Suspect number 1 still in residence.
21's at Craig's residence. 22's covering Ellis. 22, this is 20. Give us a status check, over.
This is 22, no change. Suspect number 2 in hotel bar.
Roger, 22.
All of a sudden, I kind of hate to get on that plane and leave.
Well, we thank you for your cooperation, Mrs. Madrid. We'll let you know how it comes out.
That a promise?
That's a promise.
This is 22. Come in.
This is 20. Go ahead.
Suspect number 2 is now moving. He was observed to receive a telephone call which appeared to shake him. He left the hotel area fast in a brown and white two-door, license King Frank Victor 886.
All right, Roger, 22. Advise us of any significant change.
What do you want to bet that phone call was from Craig?
Accusing Ellis of lying about having had the ledger. Otherwise, how could Eve Madrid have taken us to it?
And Ellis will argue that he does have it, and Craig will want to see it. He'll want proof.
No way Ellis is going to go to Craig's place with it.
No, he'd want Craig to meet him somewhere else alone.
We can dream, can't we?
20, this is 21. Suspect number 1 has departed his residence alone in a gray sedan. License number X-Ray Frank Adam 845 and is moving. Over.
Yeah, Roger, 21.
20, this is 22. Suspect number 2 now appears to be heading in the direction of the newspaper.
Yeah, 22. Find a stakeout at the rear of the suspect's car. We'll handle foot surveillance.
Roger, 20. Stakeout behind suspect vehicle.
Suspect number 1 now proceeding south on State Highway 49. Over.
Yeah, Roger, 21. Maintain loose surveillance, but stay with him.
Roger, 20.
Okay, 22. Your man's returning to his vehicle.
Roger, 20. 22 is ready to roll.
22, your man's rolling.
22 has suspect number 2 vehicle in sight.
Are we going to stay here?
Yeah, all of a sudden, I'm as interested in that newspaper man as he seems to be in us.
This is 21. Suspect number 1 turned off State Highway 49 and is now proceeding west on County Road 7.
Yeah, Roger, 21.
This is 22. Suspect 2 is now proceeding south on State 49.
Yeah, 22. Watch for a right turn on County Road 7.
Roger, 20.
20 and 22, this is 21. Suspect 1 appears to be headed for a state recreational park. We'll watch for suspect 2 at our rear.
This is 22. Roger.
Yeah, 20, Roger. Hey, button, who's got the button?
Looks like Highway 49 is going to get some more traffic.
Not right now. Let's pay a call.
Mr. Spry, if you're not in too much of a hurry, we'd like to have a chat with you.
Well,
You're not in too much of a hurry to go somewhere, are you, Mr. Spry?
I was going somewhere, yes.
We thought we might take a little ride ourselves, maybe go out on Highway 49. I hear that's a nice area. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Spry? Somebody suggested that we turn off on County Road 7. Nice state park out there, lovely picnic area.
All right. I don't know how you found out, but I think I'll be glad to unload.
Mr. Spry, so far as we're concerned, you're a third-party witness in our investigation. You are not under investigation at this point. However, if you feel that what you are about to say might incriminate you, you don't have to talk to us at all. You would also have the right to counsel. Do you understand that?
I sure do. That's how I got mixed up in this in the first place, by being my own counsel and by not keeping my mouth shut. Well, this time I want to talk, and I don't want counsel. When Ellis came to me with Craig's ledger after the fire, I should have turned him in, but no, I saw a chance to get Craig off my back. I wouldn't take him in as a partner, and then pretty soon I found I was losing all my advertisers.
But they're back now, aren't they?
Yeah, that's all I ever wanted. If I wasn't greedy like Ellis, he cut himself in for a piece of Craig's action. The important thing is Craig can't touch me. Or he couldn't until Eve Madrid showed up today. Now Craig thinks Ellis lied about having the ledger.
And he wants to see it.
But he still has to worry about the one you have. Whether it's the one Ellis claims he found or a duplicate. Either way, he'll try and make a deal with you. You could get rich.
Speaking of ledgers, do you mind?
Oh, this isn't it. It's an old one of my own. You see, Ellis didn't trust Craig to meet him alone, so we'll test him with this. If he makes the right moves, then we'll show him the real one.
You know where it is?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. You see, Ellis never trusted me either. But I have an idea. It'll be close to where they meet in the park, where he can get at it fast.
I call Phillips and have him meet us there.
Mystery Theater returns to O'Hara, U.S. Treasury.
Say, don't you fellows have those little transmitters you can stick in your pocket?
Their use is highly restricted. Why?
Well, it sure would make me feel safer if you knew what was going on when I meet with Craig.
Well, if you really felt that your life was in danger, what do you think, Jim?
Well, you'd have to agree not to use it unless you were in real jeopardy.
Sure. Have you got one with you?
Now, there's the switch, but now remember, you cannot use that unless...
No, don't use it if I don't need you quick. Now, when I get down there, what do I do?
Just do what you were gonna do.
Area 38 is down that way, by the lake.
All right, Mr. Spry, you'll be covered.
Wasn't that Clifford Spry that just left you?
That's right.
It's Al Ellis I want. We matched his fingerprints with those of the Hoxie trailer. Attempted murder. And that's my jurisdiction.
You bet your sweet life it is.
Well, that's why I called Phillips.
Well, I like to handle these touchy things myself. Let's say till Phillips gets a little more experience.
At 21, this is 20 for a status, over.
This is 21. The suspects 1 and 2 are seated at a table in picnic area 38. They appear to be waiting for someone.
Yeah, Roger, our man's on the way to join them now. Keep the air clean in case he needs to transmit.
Roger, 20.
Mr. O'Hara, I'm sorry to violate your rules, but I'm turning this thing on now, and I don't intend to turn it off. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm close enough to Burton T. Craig to see him, I'm in jeopardy, and I can see him.
Now what are we going to do?
It's too late to intercept him. We can't turn our units off. What if he really does get into trouble? Come on.
Well, Mr. Spry, it's about time. Do you think all I've got to do is stand here and wait?
Well, I've got a business to run, too, you know.
All right. That's not what we're here for.
There's your book, Craig, right under Spry's arm. Like me to read a few entries from it?
I'd like you to read a few from the one O'Hara had.
He's got nothing. I emptied that metal box myself.
Garth saw it. Then it was put there after the fire. Look, there's only one copy. If there'd been 2, Jake Madrid would have told me about it. He'd have told me anything by the time I got through with him.
Your treasury agent is playing guessing games.
I hope you're right, because that book doesn't mean a thing unless it's exclusive. Let me see it. Come on.
Craig, everybody's just a little bit tricky. You know what I mean? You've got 30 seconds to decide if it's real.
All right, treasury agents, don't move. Keep your hands where we can see them.
You're under arrest, Ellis. Suspicion murder.
Well, the ink is good. It hardly ran at all.
As long as it gave you everything you needed.
It shows all of Craig's business interests in Crystal Springs. Of course, we'll need your testimony about your husband's statements to you, if you'll verify his handwriting.
Oh, sure I will.
The lab was able to read some of the burned records we sent them. Evidence of loan sharking involving the businesses he owned. That's how he got into them.
What about Al Ellis?
Sheriff Hanna took him into custody. He'll be indicted by the state for murder.
Sounds like Crystal Springs might not be a bad place to live now. Well, somebody made an offer on my trailer. That's what made me realize I might want to go back there. Now I can.
Now you can.
This is Peter Graves. More than any other performer, he taught a whole generation how to rock and roll. Meet Elvis Presley on an all-new biography. Tonight on A&E.
Is that Rockford?
Under disguise.
Jim masquerades as a salesman, a psychiatrist, and an IRS agent.
Will the real Rockford please stand up?
Not till he finds that 6-foot blonde beauty.
Some guys have all the luck.
Join us next on A&E. It's time well spent.